Let's head over to traffic then with Irma G in a couple of minutes from now. If you want to still get hold of Irma on Twitter, you're welcome to do that as we head up to where we 6:15 this morning. Let's check in with Irma G in a couple of minutes from now, see how we're looking. But before we get there, of course, we're keeping a close eye on what has happened in KZN off the back of the weekend flooding. Several homes and roads and infrastructure badly damaged. Yes, there's more flooding since more than a month ago. Umdloti, just north of Durban, is one of the worst affected areas. That's where we find Tumelo Mototwane, normally my partner in news, as she likes to say, stuck with me here in ST1. But you are standing, I imagine, Tumza morning, where someone's home used to be. What is it looking like?
Yeah. Good morning to you, partner. Absolutely miss you, but I have to say that the sound of the waves are compensating for it. However, on the other hand, we are standing at the epicenter of, a community that's been ravaged by severe storms. The impact of the KZN floods date back as far as April of this year. This past weekend did no better to this situation. More rains, more storms, of course, affected KZN. And we know that a couple of people have also been affected in terms of their infrastructure, their roads, their school systems in terms of their school buildings, their homes also being impacted by those floods, to a point where our colleague Jason Tathia, of course, reported earlier, and I heard that you played that package this morning, where Umdloti residents had been lamenting their concerns to a developer responsible, of course, for building their infrastructure, saying they still see mud flowing and coming into their yards and into their homes. But that's just on one point. On the other, we know the great need that the people and residents of parts of Umdloti need, and other parts of KZN impacted by the floods need, in terms of assistance to rebuild their lives, to get back them to normal. Now, at the forefront of assisting and bringing relief to these communities has been Gift of the Givers. They've been here since day one, making sure they take all their resources and, of course, attribute them to where the people of KZN's needs are. Right now, though, I'm joined Bilal Jiwa, who is from the Gift of the Givers, to give us an update of what work has been taking place so far from the perspective of the Gift of the Givers. And Bilal, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. I was just talking about the amount of work that obviously has to go into rebuilding KZN. We know the government as well saying they will redistribute some funds to assist. You've been at the forefront of bringing some relief. How has your work been since the beginning of these floods in KZN?
Good morning, ma'am. The Gift of the Givers from day one, our priority initially was, the most important thing was food and water. So we assessed the needs from the Durban North area all the way right down to the south coast, which is Potchefstroom and further on, and the west of Durban, which is Marion Hill, etc. So initially our first steps was food and water relief for those that were affected in the halls and those that were displaced. That has been going on for the past 3 or 4 weeks. And our directors now, we have covered almost all the areas with regards to food and water. And now we're assessing the needs to get people going forward in their lives, to rebuild their lives. Yeah. So going forward, currently now we are looking at sustainable water developments. So like in the Tongat area where there is no water, we have drilled numerous boreholes. We are assessing other areas that have water issues, serious water issues. I mean, like for the past 3-4 weeks, they have no water at all, no tap water. Some areas have not even had electricity. So this morning and going forward, from tomorrow, we will go out and assess those sites and establish where we can drill further boreholes in those areas for those communities.
But if you may just describe for me the damage that you have seen with your own eyes since the KZN floods back in April. I mean, what's been the extent from your personal experience?
The extent has been enormous. Like people have, I've heard from people that there were floods in Durban in 1987. That's what they talk about. There was a serious floods in 1987. Yeah. So when I met an elderly gentleman and he explained to me, he told me the floods of 1987 was a walk in a park. So just to give us an understanding of how serious a devastation has been here. People's lives have been totally destroyed. Besides the infrastructure, I mean, every single person has felt the effect of these floods on them, and families and schools. Gift of the Givers already has started programs where we have started to revamp schools. We're looking at possibilities of where homes need to be assessed and repaired or rebuilt. We're looking at those as well. Then your basic appliances like your fridges, your stoves, people's homes with the water flooding in, the electricity has gone as well. So we are looking at various ways of seeing how we can assist in those regards as well.
Absolutely. You mentioned, water, basic needs, clothes being one of them, food obviously being another priority. But so far, are there still people that are still displaced, that still don't have homes, that are still probably living in community halls that have also been provided by government, we understand, and still need the assistance to literally have, homes erected for them to stay with their families?
Yes, there is a serious need of those. There are a lot of people that are displaced in the halls. In the Tongaat area, in the South Bayview, Chatsworth, there are those that are displaced. There's no chance of them rebuilding on the same property or the same place they were. They will have to be relocated. Government will have to work on a strategic plan on how they can find suitable land, safe land, where it can be built, where we will not have this kind of catastrophe again, where loss of life, etc., will be experienced again.
So where to from here? What's the plan moving forward? Because we know that while you were assisting with relief, just after the first floods in April, then this past weekend again, more rain came, and I just wonder, did it set you back in terms of the work that you have done, increase the workload, and then what's the strategy then moving forward?
Well, it has increased our workload. We were just starting to back off and work on, like I said, on long-term sustainable projects, but there has been flooding again.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Lots of people's homes have been flooded. Their basic groceries and food and stuff has been damaged. So we have had to restart that program again of hunger alleviation and water again. There is areas now that had water, and now the water again has stopped again. So we have to replan, and we have to sit down and discuss how we are going to work on a way forward with regards to immediate assistance for those homes that were flooded in the various areas.
And the support you've received so far, how has it been from South Africans, from corporate companies, just entrusting you with resources to continue with your work?
The support we've received from organizations, from companies, etc., has been overwhelming, to be at least. And it's not only the big companies. I'll give you a simple example. On Monday, I was going back to one area, and I stopped. My van was really messed. I had a puncture. So the guy who repaired the puncture did not charge me for repairing it. And then when I stopped at the car wash, the gentleman told me, no, you all do enough. So from my side, let me wash your vehicle. I'll be honored to do it. I mean, it's not millions that they need, but it's this support that drives us and keeps us going day by day. And that's what's very important. And we appreciate every bit of support that we can get in the various areas that we go to.
Absolutely. We appreciate, of course, the efforts that you're making as Gift to the Givers. Thank you so much to you, Bilal Jiwa, for joining me this morning, keeping us up to date there, Gareth. You have heard about, the work that they have been doing so far since, the initial floods this year in April in KZN affected areas, including, of course, where we are in Umdloti, but other parts of Tongaat as well, where many people are still displaced, still needing assistance with the likes of food, appliances, clothes, young pupils and children only trying to get back to school now and catch up with academic work. But we know this past weekend might have set them back as well as far as, education is concerned. So we'll keep updating you, of course, on what's been happening here in Umdloti, Gareth, for the entire morning regarding, of course, the effects and impact of the floods.
Yeah, it's going to be felt for a very long time. Tumela Motatwana down for us in KZN and Umdloti, of course, badly affected over the weekend. You can see the devastation behind her leading up to that main road. She's standing on the beach at the moment, but heading up to that main road, you can see the kind of damage and carnage that the area has experienced over the past couple of weeks. All right,